What's up, y'all? Hey, we're back. I'm gonna try to get out the information as quick as I can because I know YouTube and long videos, in my opinion, they don't really go too well. At least when I'm watching videos, I don't like them for them to last to be too long. So, anyways, we're back. Thank you for being here, whoever you are, however you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thanks for being here. So today we're gonna be talking about the internal, external, and eternal union of the divine feminine and masculine. I'm kind of excited about this, I ain't gonna lie. So that being said, we're gonna start with the internal. I could actually dive into all of them pretty deeply, but I could actually make an actual video for each one of those because they all are very. There's compartments to each of them. There's systems, you know what I mean? And just like how we have systems to us, and this is just like a little spin-off, like a little bonus thing. We have all of the elements within us, like the earth, the fire, the water, the air, the lightning, the electricity. So we have the earth would be our skeletal system. We have the water, which is our circulatory system. We have our fire, which is our digestive system. It's how fire works. It has to consume. In order to keep consuming, it has to keep consuming. It's not tamed, you know, that's an aspect of it. We have the air, which is the respiratory system. We have the electricity, which is the nervous system. You know what I mean? We have all of this within us. There's multiple systems that all work in unison. So yeah, it could be complicated, it could be complex in a way, but that is part of how things work. And it's actually kind of beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And it makes sense. But it's also what makes the mystery kind of like have like so many like levels of like magnification, or like as above so below. There's depth to it, you know what I mean? She gets deep, you know what I mean? Anyways, so let's talk about the internal. Speaking of deep, let's talk about the internal aspect of the divine feminine, masculine, and actually, yeah, like the cosmic baby, the divine baby, or whatever you want to call it. So, which is the promise, or whatever you want to call it. So, or the heart. As far as the internal, let's keep this thing going. It's 2.5 minutes. Great. The internal. So, the internal divine masculine, feminine, and the cosmic baby, or the union, or whatever. The internal, or the divine masculine is the head. The divine feminine is the lower body, or like the lower 3 chakras. The divine masculine is the upper 3 chakras, and then you have the heart chakra, which is like the baby, or the cosmic, like the promise, so like the miracle baby, you know what I mean? Like the stuff that makes it work. And this is actually to kind of help with people healing with a lot of stuff. Like I actually like to run. I run quite a bit, and I actually have ran so much that I started running with a 45-pound vest on. So I'll run with a weighted vest and everything, and it's something that I'll do, and I'll push myself, and it's something that, like, you know, no one tells me to do it. I just go for it. But it took a lot of self-discipline in order for me to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's because of my understanding of these 3 aspects of the divine masculine, feminine, and the miracle cosmic baby, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. Whatever, you get it, baby Yoda, whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna get more so to the points because I don't want this to run too long, and I know y'all are smart, so let me, you know, kind of cut on the analogies so much and just kind of give y'all more of the information, right? A little bit. I'll try to do that a little bit. Anyways, if the analogies help though, I'll speak more analogies. So the divine masculine, let's start with the feminine. The divine feminine is the lower 3 chakras, and for a lot of y'all that know, the lower 3 chakras have to do with your more like natural urges and things. It has to do with the now. It has to do with the feeling. It has to do with the actual feminine side of things, your lower body. That's why your lower body is the region where like the stuff you can't control, like your sexual urges, like you have to go to like pee the restroom, like you pee and poop, and like those things you can't control, you know what I mean? like your stomach, like having to eat and all those things, those urges and the things that make us human, you can't control those. Those are just natural. We all have those, you know. Everybody has to eat, everybody has to, like, it's a part of nature, it's part of what makes it work, it's a part of her. That's why the female body has, the lower body is more extended, you know, just like at the hourglass, right? Like her lower body, her hips are wider than the males, and the males' shoulders are wider than their hips, you know what I mean? Like typically the masculine, I'm not saying like, you know, genders and so forth, but like the masculine energy is more protrudes at the shoulders, and the feminine energy protrudes at the waist and the lower 3 chakras. So she has to do with the now, it has to do with the feeling, it has to do with the, like, the side of you that wants to like stay in bed. That's why, like, you know, a lot of her stuff happens down here, you know what I mean? And that's why she's so connected to down here. And there's things that, you know, also with women that they can't control that happens every month, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff down there, things you can't control. Everybody's peed today, I'm sure, you know what I mean, at least once. So it's just like we do it every day, and it's a part of our life, it's a part of like who we are, you know what I'm saying? But that's also the divine feminine aspect of our internal union between the two. So here's another thing, I'm gonna try to get through this because there's a lot talking through each 3 of them, and I don't want to actually go too deep into any one in particular, because I could actually make a video about each one, because they all are, you know, pretty expansive, you know what I mean? I mean, it's what we're doing here in a lot of ways. So the feminine aspect has to do with the now, right? The masculine aspect has to do with not the now. It's kind of like the flipped a little bit compared to how we like consider like this physical realm being the masculine, and the unseen is the feminine, right? But like on the inside, the masculine has to do with things that don't exist in the now. It has to do with the side of you that is thinking of the future, the past, putting your thoughts and planning, like the energy of like willpower, the energy of that exists internally inside of you, that all is up here, that's in your upper chakras, that is all in your like direction and trying to make things happen, your ambition, all of those things, your fears, all of that stuff, all of your mental mind. That's the mind that most people notice. That's also kind of makes it masculine, is because it's your brain, it's the mind that people can see. You know what I'm saying? It's the mind that people can like, oh, it's a brain, it's your physical mind. But you also have other minds. You have your lower mind, or your feminine mind. And then you also have your heart mind. Your heart mind is what makes these two work, because this mind operating not in the now, but operating in thoughts and operating in ideas and operating in fictions and all that stuff is the opposite. It exists in an opposite realm. They're different organs. They have nothing to do with each other. Sexual organs and, you know, like everything down here, even though yes, they both need each other, but you can't do that with your brain. You know what I'm saying? Your brain doesn't have orifices. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. So this is how our bodies are operating, right? We have 2 opposite forces within us, but the reason that makes them work is the heart force, which is the child, which is the joy of the world. You know what I mean? Which is like the heart is what keeps everything like together. The heart is the eternal child. The heart is like the eternal, like, you know, when like children, they're just happy, you know what I'm saying? Like they just want to enjoy life. They just want to be here. They're not looking at things as negative. They're looking at everything as beautiful. They're looking at people as beautiful, and we put things on them, obviously, you know what I mean? But it's natural for our child to be like that. It breaks our heart when we see stuff on Instagram where we're looking at children in Gaza dealing with the stuff that they're dealing with. Is crazy, you know what I mean? Because like nobody has to deal with that. You look at these children, you can see the innocence being ripped away from them. And that's not anything but what the world is doing, what humans are doing. It's us, you know? Toxic masculinity, you know what I mean? It really is that. But anyways, let me slow down. So the eternal child is the promise. It is the future. It is what keeps the thing growing, what keeps it going, why the man and the woman, the feminine and the masculine are even, like, it's their greatest work, you know what I mean? But it's also its own thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, the heart is the source of it all. It is the core, you know? Because we all are children, masculine, feminine, we all come from. We all have a eternal self version of us that is the beginning, you know what I mean? That is our source. Oh goodness. Okay, there's a lot. So that's just the internal side. We're at 10 minutes, so let's see. I think that took me about 8 minutes or 7.5 minutes. So let me get to the external side, and then we can get into the eternal side. And I'll probably make a different video. This one might actually be like 23, 24 minutes. Sorry, y'all. But there's a lot of information. There's a lot to actually go over, because like the internal world is actually so much, it's not as complicated as we make it. It makes sense, but there's a part of it that you have to understand is illogical too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that makes us different from like robots, is that we can process like non-logical things, like love, you know, like you need those things in order for you to actually be a more well-rounded decision maker. You know what I'm saying? If it's all based off of logic, there's no room for like new ideas. There's no room for like new beginnings. Anyways, so let me get to the external. The external is the dance. The external is the dance between the two on the external plane, right? You have the dance between the two on the internal plane, right? You have the like, oh, like, yo, tomorrow I'm gonna get up and exercise. And then you wake up in the bed, you're like, ooh, I feel too good in the bed right now. Like, dang, all those thoughts and all those ideas about the planning is kind of out the door now, because like the feminine energy is so strong. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of our natural, where we come from naturally. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, oh yeah, I feel so good in bed. So like, I'm just gonna enjoy this a little longer. You know what I mean? As opposed to where you were the night before when you were thinking about it in your head. So you have to kind of like, in those moments when it comes to exercising and stuff, that's why I even brought it up, is because you have to allow the masculine, even though it's something you can't feel in the moment, it's something you can't really feel, it's something that's more the thought, and you gotta like, okay, I gotta stay on track, you know, I gotta like do it. So you have to get out of the feminine energy a little bit when you're in that space where you're trying to work out in the morning, to remember, okay, cool, my brain is telling me to do this, so I gotta train my body to get up, put my shoes on, get outside. And then when I'm outside, I'm like, okay, well, I can't go back in bed now, so I gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not necessarily a bad thing to want to be in bed at all. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the best things in the world, is being able to just enjoy being in bed or take a hot shower. Like, goddamn, it's so good. But at the same time, if you are wanting to do certain things or like do things, you do have to allow that masculine energy within you. It's just you know what I'm saying? To also take lead in those moments where you are looking for that change to happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to allow that to be, okay, it's uncomfortable, obviously, but that's the price you have to pay. And if you're paying for anything, your pain is the currency. You know what I'm saying? So externally, the dance is the dance between the masculine and the feminine energies, and how they respond with one another externally, and it's how they find themselves and find each other within themselves. You know, it's like, or they find themselves within each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like how how we mentioned before, like understanding like the ego death, at least on part 2, understanding the ego death of like the feminine energy, and how she will bring that out of the masculine energy in order for her to like challenge him to see if he understands who he is and who she is. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to have one another to understand what each other are. You have to have the day to understand what the night is, you know? That's the external side. That's the duality, you know what I mean? That's the dance, you know what I mean? That's like what we're doing right now. You know, all of us that's, you know, humans and on this frequency, you know? And all these the birds and the bees, you know what I mean? Like the day and the night, the external oh, I'm hungry. Okay, now I'm full. Oh, okay, I'm tired. Okay, now I'm wide awake. Okay, now I'm, angry. Okay, now I'm happy. It's like, well, not necessarily. Like, those emotions are a little different. They aren't, you kind of have to balance those yourself. You know what I mean? If you're angry and happy is, I think you might be bipolar, more so. But not, shout out to all my bipolar people out there. But some things that's not the same. But anyways, so the external is the dance, right? We kind of all have a good idea about that. And I actually would like to expand on the external, because I kind of did about the external aspect of the feminine, the divine feminine. But I would like to talk about the divine masculine even more too, because I do feel like some people, men and women, would actually get a good amount of like understanding from hearing about that, from hearing about the divine masculine, because I think some men may have it twisted a little bit and may have a hard time understanding, okay, this is what makes a man masculine. Yeah. Oh, you know what I mean? It's that. But there's also more to it. On top of that, we all like the hunt. We all are built to kill, but we're built to protect. More so than kill. Killing is a part of it. Obviously, you gotta hunt, but you gotta we have to you gotta understand that there's more ways. You have to find a way to get it out, and there's more ways to get it out. And you have to understand when you're projecting on the people, and you have to balance it out within yourself and understand that sometimes you just have to hold that. Sometimes you have to understand that it's just within you. You are the prize. We all are, men and women. But I was just taking a small segment to talk about the men, doing a little healing right there. But it's, there's nothing wrong with being that at all. Actually, I think women, they need you to have that to a degree. They need you to be able to take it to that level. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if they don't see that in you, they're gonna bring that out of you. If that's not all dynamics necessarily need that. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different things, but that's the masculine energy. You know what I mean? To a degree, that's what gives us. That's our power. Our power is we are the mark. We are the we get the attention. We are the spark. We are the sun. We are the shining light that gets your attention, that gets your that you're supposed to notice. We're supposed to be the peacock. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be broad. We're supposed to grab your attention, because that's what we're built to do. That's what we're here for. But we're more than that. We're more than just to prance around and peacock. You know what I'm saying? We have to it's not just about, it's just about me. I'm a masculine. I look cool. I'm sexy in my bank account and and I can just get whatever girl I want. It's about being able to know that all that energy that you put into yourself to make you raw, raw, you know what I mean? Is for the eternal child. Everything that you've learned, everything that you've grown, everything that you've come to know, and everything that makes you that raw, is to protect her and the child, and to put and teach into that child. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's for you have to develop that, and a part of you, that is yours. You know what I'm saying? That is yours to keep. Nobody can take that from you. But it is also to make you a better protector for that child, for everything. You can't take it with you, so you gotta put it into something. You know what I mean? You have to put it into your children, into your family. You know what I mean? In different ways. But the divine feminine and the external side, I can't channel. I can if I wanted to. I'm not going to, because I'm not gonna try to mock y'all to a degree. But the dance with her is that she knows. She knows. You know what I mean? And she's supposed to know. You know what I mean? It's we are a little bit more we're trying to figure it out. you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of like the game a little bit, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what keeps her like a step ahead a little bit with us. But, you know, ladies first, you know what I mean? But there's a part to who she is to where, you know, she needs that from us. She needs, or let me slow down. Because I am taking a long time. I have been talking about the divine feminine a lot lately, so let me slow down. If y'all seen those videos, so like I feel like right now my mind's not even trying to like communicate that, so let me slow down my tongue before I start to just talk, okay? But let me talk about the eternal, because I don't want this to go for too long. So, but if y'all want me to expand on that, please let me know. I'll just make another video for sure. But the eternal union between the three is the eternal union between the three is the stars and like the space, kind of like what I mentioned before, like on certain dimensions, like on the higher dimensions. Like I've experienced Kundalini awakenings and stuff like that, right? So like there's parts of me that I've had to balance out of finding the divinity between like the divine feminine in me and the masculine inside myself, and I also came to understanding my moon and my sun sign and understanding everything. And I can actually talk about that a little bit more if I got enough time. I'll go back into that. But the eternal is like it's like the triumph. It's like, yo, we made it. Like, we did it. Like, everything that we ever thought was wrong wasn't. Like, what we think is evil and what we think is this and that is really all a mix of feminine and masculine energies that are unbalanced, you know? But when it is balanced, it's like, wait, what is there to be afraid of? Like, yo, we did it. Like, yo, like as a male, I could be like, yo, I conquered everything. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm him. I'm the king. There's literally nothing. There's no lion. There's no gun. There's no anything. It's just us. And then I am alongside her. You know what I'm saying? And she's right there watching the whole time. Like, yeah. You know, like she's been there the whole time. Like, it's deep with her. With her, it's really deep because she's... you know, it starts with her, you know what I'm saying? But we get to be the shining light to both define one another. We get to be the stars. We get to be her jewels. We get to be her diamonds, you know what I mean? We are that to her. We are that. And there's multiples of us, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, that's like the infinity, you know what I mean? It's the divinity. Eternity, whatever. But like that promise is the union between the two is the child, you know what I mean? The union between the two is the seed. It's the seed in the ground, you know what I mean? It's the whole picture. It's the whole painting. It's why we have lights and darks. It's why we have what it is that we are existing in right now. It's why it holds itself together. It's why it works. It's the two opposites that can't exist in the same space as one another. Like light and darkness don't exist within the same space as one another. Like air and water don't exist in the same space as one another. But there's this bond that keeps them two together. There's a bond that water and air have with one another that creates this wave, you know, the yin and the yang. And that's the magic of it. That's the eternal union. That's the key. That's the chi, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to spoil it, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I feel like we need this healing. Like, we need to heal. All of us. I hope that helps. I guess I can talk a little bit more about the external union. I don't want this to go too long. But I guess the external union, kind of like that. It's like he's meant to be seen, you know. She's meant to hold the space for him to be seen because he is her greatest work, you know what I mean? He's the direction of the attention, you know. That is what is and what isn't. Isn't just because it isn't doesn't mean that it doesn't matter, you know. It's like it's the space between the words. When you hear people talk, you don't see the spaces, you know what I mean? But you can Your mind does. Your mind knows where one word ends and the next word is. You know, the computer does when it's looking at the closed captions. Whenever you're reading words, you know, it's like the same thing. It's the heartbeat. It's boom, boom, but you also have the space between. You know what I mean? It's the land and it's the sea. Most of this earth is sea. You know what I mean? But we only live on land, so that's what we put a lot of our value to. We also could live under the water for sure. We need the water. Look, water lives in us. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would make sense, obviously, if we maybe lived on water and all the earth was like used to grow food. I don't know. I'm just throwing random ideas out there. I don't know. But but at the same time, I'm just thinking of different ways that the masculine and feminine could operate, you know, and it makes sense. So the eternal union, that is what it is. So I hope this message goes out as far as it can into the world, and I really hope people pick up on this and really can look at things in more of a simpler way, and kind of like put down the gun towards yourself, towards other people, you know what I mean, towards the children, towards the elders, and just see that, like, yo, there's a lot of stuff that we are dealing with that it's just because it's out of balance, and it's all good. We just got to get in alignment, because at the end we are in alignment. We already are on a higher degree. That's why we have this sun here, you know what I mean? It's like it works. It's like, look how beautiful it is, you know. That's why children come out and they're like, like, I did it, nothing can stop me. But like, we're so like feeble. You know, and we need the mother and the father to like protect life, to, you know, like, it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. The eternal union is cool. Also, the father, the masculine, I believe that he is seen as like the above, you know, to a degree, you know, like that's just whatever. That's just how we exist. The direction, you know, he is upward. Why we think about ascending or going upward. Is because I believe is because he dies. The light is meant to the light dies at some point. You know, at some point the sun's gonna die. At some point, you know, every star dies. You know what I mean? And it's not like a sad thing, but that's just a part of like his why, what existence even is to begin with. It can't be. It came from her, so it has to return to her, you know what I'm saying? But it's her greatest work, you know what I mean? Like, he is, you know what I'm saying? He's her protector. He's her, you know, he's her counterpart, but she created him, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he became something even beyond what she created, you know what I'm saying? Because like the opposing energy that he is, obviously to a degree, darkness, light comes from darkness, but like, and I'm saying he and her, I'm sorry, my bad, but it's divine masculine and feminine. I'm just talking to them about them too, because I'm like thinking of it on a higher dimension, and I like paint the picture as like me. Obviously I'm like hetero, whatever. I'm sorry if I'm like, you know, making it weird, but human shit. But at the same time, you know, I hope y'all get where I'm coming from, you know. But it's because he dies, you know. Like, he has to die. We all die as humans. Yes, we all die, like all of us. So, but that's a masculine aspect of our existence. You know what I'm saying? Is that we die. You know, the feminine aspect is that she gives birth. You know what I'm saying? She gives life. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's doing that shit. But you know, we die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful balance. And we need one another, you know? We need one another. And then we love one another. Come on, this is so cool. This is so fucking cool, man. Love some life. Enjoy your weekend, y'all. I love y'all. Take care.